The planet Virelia 7 was unlike any other in the human frontier. Its skies glowed with soft teal light, and twin suns cast long shadows across jagged silver mountains. Deep valleys held forests of translucent trees, their leaves humming with faint energy. The air carried a faint metallic scent, and every step on the rocky ground seemed to vibrate with the planet's quiet heartbeat. Captain Ryland Thorne led the human exploration team through one of these valleys. He was tall and lean, his dark hair swept back from a determined face. His armor, polished and advanced, reflected the teal sky in faint streaks. Behind him moved Lieutenant Caramendis, a quick-witted scout, and Sergeant Jax Core, the team's engineer and heavy weapons expert. They were humans, yes, but in this far corner of space, being human came with both fascination and danger. Ryland paused. "The sensors are picking up strange energy readings ahead," he said. His voice was calm but firm, carrying the authority that made him a respected leader. "Stay alert. We don't know what's guarding these ruins." Kara's eyes sparkled with curiosity. "It's exciting, Captain. These ruins might have technology older than any human colony. Imagine what we could learn." Jax grunted, adjusting the strap of his weapon. "I'd rather hope nothing decides to shoot us first. Imagine is not going to save our skins." Ryland smiled faintly but did not respond. He focused on the path ahead. The ruins of Virelia 7 were partially buried beneath rock and glowing moss. The surface showed signs of recent activity, strange footprints and traces of energy pulses. Whoever or whatever lived here. It was cautious, perhaps even intelligent. As they crested a ridge, the team saw her. A figure stepped from the ruins, tall and imposing. She moved with elegance, but every motion hinted at lethal precision. Her skin was a muted silver, glinting faintly under the sun, and her eyes were deep violet, almost glowing. She wore a sleek armor of dark energy plates, and across her chest was a weapon unlike anything the humans had seen. The barrel hummed faintly, resonating with power that made the hairs on Ryland's arms stand on end. Ryland froze for a moment. He had faced alien combatants before, but there was something commanding about her presence. She was not just a warrior, she was a sentinel, someone who moved with purpose and respect for her own code. The alien raised her weapon, pointing it directly at the humans. Kara's hand twitched. Ready to respond, and Jax instinctively raised his plasma rifle. Ryland stepped forward, slowly, hands visible, armor glinting but not threatening. "We mean no harm," he said in the universal translator, the device on his collar converting his words into the alien language. The alien's eyes narrowed. She spoke, but the words were alien, sharp, and melodic. The translator buzzed. "You trespass where humans are not welcome. Leave or face consequences." Ryland's jaw tightened. "We're not here to fight," he said. "We're explorers. We want to learn. We respect this place and its guardians. Please, allow us safe passage." The alien warrior tilted her head slightly, analyzing them. Her gaze lingered on Ryland. He noticed it was not just caution. There was curiosity there, something almost human. For several long seconds, the wind of Virelia 7 whistled through the valley. Neither side moved. The tension was thick, like the electric hum in the moss around the ruins. Kara whispered, "Captain, she's not lowering that weapon. Any sudden move and—" Ryland shook his head subtly. "We show calm. That is our advantage." The alien warrior spoke again. This time the translator interpreted the words. "Your words are weak. Words do not prove strength. Show your worth." Ryland considered this. He knew the Zalari, the species of this warrior, valued discipline, honor, and courage. Words alone would not satisfy them, but humans had other tools beyond brute strength, creativity, reason, calm under pressure. He gestured to his team. "Let's show her we are not enemies," he said quietly. Jax frowned. "And how exactly are we going to do that?" "She has that thing pointing at us. One wrong step—" "Trust me," Rylan interrupted. His voice was firm. He took a slow step forward, hands raised slightly to show he carried no weapons in a threatening manner. "Captain Rylan Thorne, we ask only to explore and understand. We will not take what is not offered. We will not harm." The alien warrior's eyes shifted slightly. There was still caution, but also a faint flicker of interest. She lowered her weapon just enough to indicate she was observing, not attacking. Rylan took another step. The ground underfoot vibrated slightly, as if the ruins themselves were aware of the tension. Kara moved beside him, matching his pace, and Jax relaxed his grip on the rifle, letting it hang at his side. "You are brave. Or foolish," the alien said through the translator. "Humans, you walk into danger with open hands." Rylan did not flinch. "Courage is not the absence of fear. It is acting in spite of it. We mean no harm, but we will not run blindly either." The alien warrior studied him for a long moment. Then she did something unexpected. She spoke a single word, which the translator struggled to interpret, but the tone was unmistakable. Challenge. Rylan understood immediately. She was testing him. Humans responded to challenges differently than many species. Where some relied only on strength, humans relied on strategy, empathy, and ingenuity. This was their moment to prove it. "Very well," Rylan said calmly. "We accept your challenge." The alien's weapon hummed softly, a warning and a promise. She began walking toward the ruins, signaling the humans to follow, but at a distance. Rylan gestured for his team to stay alert but move carefully. Every step was measured, every breath cautious. Inside the ruins, the walls glowed faintly with energy, illuminating symbols that shifted as if alive. Rylan's sensors picked up subtle energy flows, unlike anything he had seen before. He motioned to Kara. "Notice the patterns. They're not random. Someone designed this carefully. Watch your step." Kara's eyes widened. "It's incredible. These ruins, they're like a library of energy. Every wall, every symbol is alive." Jax muttered, "I just hope it doesn't explode." The alien warrior turned her head slightly, acknowledging the human's comments, but without showing emotion. Her armor shimmered as she moved, absorbing the ambient energy around her. She was strong, disciplined, and utterly focused. Humans relied on adaptability, and this moment would test that fully. Rylan stopped near a glowing symbol on the wall. He studied it, gently touching the surface. It pulsed under his fingertips, almost as if responding to his curiosity. "She wants to see what we can do. Not just with weapons, but with our minds," he whispered to Kara. Kara nodded. "We're being tested. We need to think, not fight." Jax raised an eyebrow. "Thinking in front of a weapon aimed at your chest? Fun times." Rylan allowed himself a faint smile. "That's why humans survive, Sergeant. Not because we're the strongest, but because we're clever, flexible, and we don't panic." The alien warrior observed silently, her eyes glowing faintly in the dim light. She did not speak, but moved with precise control, her every motion a study in discipline. Rylan understood she would allow them a path forward only if they proved their worth, through courage, intelligence, and respect. The humans followed her deeper into the ruins. Every step revealed new wonders, walls that shifted color based on thought, floors that responded to weight and intention, and ceilings that reflected memories like mirrors. The alien warrior paused frequently, testing their reactions, measuring their responses. At one point, a floor panel lit up beneath Jax, and a subtle energy pulse shot toward him. Reflexively, he jumped back, but Rylan caught his arm. "Patience. Observe. React with thought, not just instinct." Jax grunted but nodded. He had learned that human survival often relied on thought as much as reflex. Kara examined the wall symbols, tracing patterns with her fingers. It's like a puzzle. It wants us to understand, not destroy. The alien warrior finally spoke again, this time slower, deliberate. You are different. Humans are different. You do not fear showing caution, yet you do not flee from challenge. You intrigue me. Rylan kept his composure. Curiosity and respect are part of who we are. We seek knowledge, not conquest. She tilted her head. The tension in the room remained, but for the first time, it felt less like a standoff and more like a test of understanding. Outside, the twin suns began to dip below the horizon. The glowing ruins bathed in soft teal and gold light, casting long, shifting shadows. The humans and the alien warrior moved together deeper into the chamber, the air thick with anticipation. For Rylan, the moment was clear. This encounter could go one of two ways: hostility or understanding. Humans had survived countless challenges, not through sheer power, but by intelligence, adaptability, and trust. This would be the first of many tests, and the first step toward something far larger than themselves. As the alien warrior paused before the central chamber, her weapon still hummed faintly, Rylan took a steady breath. His team followed silently, ready for whatever came next, but determined to show the strength of human courage and ingenuity. And for the first time, the alien warrior lowered her stance slightly, not completely, but just enough to hint at curiosity rather than aggression. It was the first sign of hope. The ruins of Virelia 7 were alive in a way that humans had never encountered before. Walls shifted subtly, floors responded to their weight, and the faint hum of energy resonated in the air. Captain Rylan Thorne led his team cautiously, eyes scanning every detail. Behind him, Kara Mendes moved with quiet fascination, while Sergeant Jax Core adjusted his gear, always ready for a sudden threat. The alien warrior, Zira, led the way. She moved with calm precision, her every step measured, her armor glinting under the soft glow of the chamber. The hum of her weapon was ever present, a reminder that she could strike at any moment. But for now, she did not. She was testing them. "You will prove your intentions," Zira said, her voice melodic but sharp, through the universal translator. "This place is sacred. Only those worthy may proceed." Rylan nodded. "We understand. We will not harm. We will follow your rules." Zira's violet eyes studied him, her expression unreadable. Then, without another word, she gestured to a corridor that branched off to the left. The floor panels shifted beneath her steps, forming a glowing path. The humans followed, stepping carefully. Each footfall caused the path to respond, lighting up like a river of soft energy beneath their feet. Kara whispered, "It's like the ruins are alive, reacting to us." Rylan did not respond. He was focused on observing Zira, trying to understand her intentions. Humans had survived countless dangerous encounters by reading their opponents. Here, Zira's discipline and focus reminded him that this challenge would be as much mental as physical. The corridor ended in a vast chamber. Its walls were covered with glowing alien symbols, and the ceiling arched high, pulsating with energy that seemed to respond to thought and movement. In the center stood a platform, floating slightly above the floor, surrounded by small but sharp energy spikes that glimmered faintly. "This is your first trial," Zira announced. "Reach the platform. Show me your courage and your understanding." Jack stepped back instinctively. "Are you kidding? Those spikes will fry us if we touch them." Rylan studied the chamber carefully. "Observe first, then move. Do not rush." The humans noticed that the spikes did not move randomly. They followed a precise rhythm. Timing was crucial. Kara knelt down to examine the floor near the platform and realized that faint energy lines connected the spikes. "They're synchronized," she said. "If we move together with the pattern, we can cross safely." Rylan nodded. "Exactly. Humans survive by observing patterns and adapting. This is our advantage." They waited for the rhythm to repeat. The spikes glowed bright, then dimmed in sequence. Kara led the way, moving carefully, counting silently. Jax followed, using his long reach to steady himself if needed. Rylan brought up the rear, scanning for sudden changes. Halfway across, a spike surged unexpectedly. Jax stumbled but caught himself with a quick leap. "Not fair," he muttered, though his eyes were wide with focus. Rylan remained calm. "Adjust, learn, continue. That is what humans do." The team reached the platform. It floated a few meters above the ground, glowing softly. As soon as they stepped on it, the symbols on the walls shifted, creating a new pattern. The room transformed, forming a maze of energy walls that twisted and turned unpredictably. Zyra observed silently. "Now your minds are tested," she said. "Find the center. Only understanding, not force, will lead you there." Rylan studied the maze. "It's a puzzle. The ruins respond to thought, not strength. We need to think ahead." Kara's eyes scanned the walls. "Look at the symbols. They repeat in cycles. If we follow the cycle, we can anticipate the path." Jax grunted. "A thinking maze. Wonderful. Why can't aliens make simple puzzles?" Rylan ignored the joke. "Focus. Humans succeed by using logic and teamwork. Let's move together." They proceeded carefully. Every choice of path required observation and patience. Wrong steps caused the walls to shift, creating dead ends or forcing them to start over. The maze tested not only intellect, but their emotional control. Panic could trigger dangerous responses in the ruins' energy. At one point, Kara nearly misstepped, triggering a small surge of energy. She froze, but Rylan reached out and guided her to safety. "It's okay. Learn from the mistake. We adapt." The humans continued, relying on observation, discussion, and instinct. Zira moved alongside, silent, her presence a constant reminder of the stakes. Occasionally, she would nod slightly or shift her stance, as if noting their choices. She was both judge and witness. Hours seemed to pass, though it might have been minutes. Finally, they reached the center. A glowing pedestal rose from the ground, emitting a soft, calming light. The chamber's walls stopped shifting, and the energy spikes dimmed. Zyra's voice echoed through the translator. "You have proven your patience, intelligence, and cooperation. Humans, you are unlike others. You think, you adapt, you endure." "This is rare." Rylan lowered his gaze slightly, acknowledging her words. "We survive by using every tool we have: mind, courage, and teamwork. That is human nature." Zira's eyes softened faintly, though her posture remained disciplined. "You also value life, even that of your opponents. That is unexpected." Kara glanced around, still catching her breath. "She's impressed? That's unusual." Jax muttered. "I'll believe it when she stops humming like a weapon every time she looks at me." Rylan smiled faintly. "Recognition of effort is more powerful than any weapon." The chamber shifted once again, forming a wide platform that extended to the next level of the ruins. Zira gestured for them to proceed. "The next trial awaits. It will be more difficult, but you have earned the right to continue." As they moved forward, Rylan noticed subtle changes in Zira's demeanor. She was still cautious, still disciplined, but the rigid hostility had softened slightly. Humans could detect nuances others might miss. Zyra's respect had been earned, not demanded. On the way, Rylan spoke quietly to his team. "Observe her, not just her strength but her judgment. Humans survive not because they overpower, but because they inspire respect, even from those stronger than themselves. Kara nodded. I never thought I'd say this, but I respect her too. She's incredible. Jax grunted, though there was a hint of admiration in his voice. I'll respect her if she doesn't try to shoot me in the next room. The next chamber was darker, with pools of glowing liquid that reacted to movement. The energy in the room pulsed like a heartbeat, faster and stronger than before. Zira's weapon hummed louder, more warning than before, but she did not raise it. This trial will test your courage, Zira said. You must cross the pools. One misstep could trap you, or worse. Trust in your mind and in each other. Rylan assessed the pools. The liquid glowed with energy that seemed to sense fear. Steps had to be confident but careful. Kara spotted faint stepping stones, just visible through the glow. We can cross, but we must move together, she said. Exactly, Rylan replied. Humans succeed by working as one. We adapt to danger, but we do not act recklessly. They began carefully, one step at a time. The glowing liquid pulsed under each movement, testing balance and focus. At one point, a sudden surge caused Jax to wobble. Rylan grabbed his arm just in time, steadying him. Trust each other, Rylan whispered. That is how we endure. Minutes passed like hours, each step measured and deliberate. Kara led with a confident stride, Jax followed, relying on both instinct and Rylan's guidance. Finally, they reached the other side safely. Zira's voice filled the chamber. You have survived. Your courage is commendable. You think, you plan, and you act with purpose. Humans, your strength is not only in your bodies, but in your minds and your hearts. Rylan allowed a small smile. That is all any human can do. Learn, adapt, survive, and respect life along the way. For the first time, Zira's weapon was lowered completely, not in attack, but in observation. She studied them carefully, her violet eyes glowing faintly. Respect had grown. The trials had been designed to test strength, intelligence, courage, and emotional control. Humans had passed, not through force, but through observation, reasoning, and collaboration. Zira now recognized that they were more than intruders. They were capable allies. As they prepared to move deeper into the ruins, Rylan felt a sense of cautious optimism. The alien warrior had tested them, and the humans had responded in a way no other species might have. This was just the beginning of a partnership that could grow stronger with understanding and trust. The ruins' energy pulsed softly, almost like a heartbeat in time with the humans' own. Step by step, challenge by challenge, they were learning not only about the alien world, but also about themselves, and about the strength that humans carried into the galaxy. Courage, intelligence, and the unyielding ability to adapt. The air in the deepest chamber of the Virelia 7 ruins was thick with energy. The glowing walls pulsed faintly, as though alive. Rylan Thorne led his team carefully, eyes scanning every detail. Kara Mendis moved beside him, her fingers tracing the soft glow of alien symbols along the walls. Sergeant Jax Core brought up the rear, adjusting his weapon, more out of habit than necessity, since Zira's weapon remained lowered. Zira walked ahead, silent but watchful. The alien warrior's armor shimmered with faint energy, responding to the pulses of the chamber. She had already tested the humans through physical challenges and mental puzzles, and now the final trial awaited. This chamber will judge your intentions, Zira said through the universal translator. It will analyze your mind, your heart, and your courage. Only those who are worthy may proceed. Rylan nodded. We understand. Humans have faced danger and challenge throughout history. We will face this trial with honesty and integrity. The chamber's center held a massive construct, unlike anything the humans had ever seen. It was a crystalline entity, floating slightly above the floor, covered in intricate patterns of energy. The construct pulsed rhythmically, almost as if it were breathing. As they approached, a soft vibration ran through the floor, sending shivers up their spines. Kara whispered, "It's alive in a way. Not biological, but aware. It's observing us." Jax muttered, "Great. A sentient crystal thing. Just what I wanted." Rylan ignored the sarcasm. "Focus. This is a test of our mind and our intentions. Act honestly, act carefully." As they stepped closer, the construct's surface shimmered, projecting images into their minds. The humans saw visions of past conflicts, mistakes, and failures, but also acts of courage, cooperation, and compassion. Rylan saw the memory of his first mission to a frontier colony where he had saved civilians during an alien storm. Kara saw herself working tirelessly to repair a failing spaceship engine under impossible odds. Even Jax saw moments when his strength had protected others, not just himself. The chamber vibrated softly, and the construct's energy seemed to respond to their thoughts and emotions. It was not merely a test of skill. It was a judgment of character. Zira watched closely. Her violet eyes studied the humans intently. "Few species show such honesty," she said. "You do not hide your weaknesses, yet you act to protect life. That is unusual." Rylan took a deep breath. "We cannot change the past, but we can choose how we act now. Humans survive by learning from mistakes and striving to do better." The construct pulsed more brightly, projecting visions of potential futures. Some showed destruction and failure, others showed cooperation, understanding, and progress. The humans felt the weight of possibility pressing on them. Kara glanced at Rylan. "We can't control everything, but we can make the right choices here. That's what matters." Jax grunted. "Right. No panicking. Just survive, and maybe impress the crystal thing." Rylan smiled faintly. "It's not about impressing. It's about proving our worth through courage, reasoning, and morality." The construct's energy shifted, forming a soft, radiant barrier. To proceed, they had to place their hands on the surface, but doing so required absolute trust. Fear or hesitation could trigger defensive measures. The humans exchanged looks, silently agreeing to act as one. Rylan stepped forward first. He placed his hand on the barrier, closing his eyes and focusing on clarity and honesty. The energy pulsed gently, almost welcoming him. Kara followed, placing her hands beside his. Jax hesitated, then followed, trusting his team. The construct responded to their unity, brightening and forming a doorway of pure light. Zira's eyes widened slightly. She had expected many outcomes, but this, cooperation, trust, and honesty, was beyond what she had anticipated from humans. "You have passed the final trial," Zira said, her voice softer than before. "Humans, you are different. You do not rely solely on power or instinct. You combine intellect, emotion, and courage in a way I have rarely witnessed." Rylan nodded humbly. "That is all any human can do. Face challenges, adapt, and act with integrity." The doorway opened to a chamber filled with intricate machinery and glowing energy. Ancient technology hummed with potential, capable of remarkable creation or destruction. Zira stepped aside, allowing the humans to enter first. As they explored, Rylan's team marveled at the advanced devices and energy systems. Kara carefully studied the symbols and controls, noting patterns that could be understood and replicated. Jax examined the mechanisms, impressed by their elegance and precision. Zira remained silent, observing how humans approached the knowledge. Unlike many species who might attempt to dominate or control, the humans studied with respect, asking questions rather than taking actions immediately. "This is unusual," Zira admitted. "Most beings act on greed, power, or fear. You seek understanding first. That is rare." Rylan responded, "Knowledge is only useful when paired with wisdom. Humans have learned that understanding must come before action." The construct pulsed again, projecting a final image, a vision of humans and Zalari working together to explore the galaxy, sharing knowledge, and preventing conflicts. Zira's armor shimmered as she studied the vision. She realized that humans were not just survivors. They could be allies, teachers, and partners. For the first time, Zira lowered her weapon completely. She stepped closer, her eyes meeting Rylan's. There was no hostility, only cautious respect. "You have shown me that humans are not just physical beings," Zira said. "You possess something more, something powerful beyond strength, understanding, adaptability, and the courage to act rightly." Rylan nodded. "That is all we ever hope to show. Courage is not the absence of fear, but the willingness to face it. Knowledge is not the ability to control, but the wisdom to use it rightly." The humans moved deeper into the chamber, examining the relics and devices with careful hands. Zira followed, still watchful but increasingly curious. She had begun to see that humans, though physically smaller than many species she had encountered, carried a strength that was far more profound, the strength of mind, heart, and spirit. Hours passed as the humans explored. They discovered mechanisms that stored energy, devices that could translate complex patterns into knowledge, and symbols that revealed long-lost technologies. Kara's eyes shone with excitement. "This is incredible. The potential here, it's more than we imagined." Jax nodded, though quietly. "Yeah, and we didn't break anything yet." Rylan smiled. "We are careful. Understanding comes before action." Zira studied them silently. Every step they took, every observation they made, reinforced what she had realized. Humans were disciplined in ways different from her species. They did not seek dominance. They respected life. They faced danger with courage. They learned from mistakes. The construct pulsed one final time, and a soft voice echoed in their minds, translating to Zira's language. "You have been judged worthy. Knowledge is shared with those who prove their minds and hearts. Use it with wisdom." Zira's armor shimmered, reflecting the light. She turned to Rylan, her expression almost reverent. "Humans, you have earned my respect, not through weapons, but through courage, thought, and integrity. Few species could achieve this." Rylan bowed his head slightly, acknowledging the respect. "We are grateful. Respect is earned, not demanded. That is how humans survive, and why we endure." Kara looked at Zira with admiration. "You didn't expect us to handle this trial so gracefully, did you?" Zira shook her head. "No. I expected fear, recklessness, or submission. Instead, I found patience, intelligence, and heart. That is extraordinary." Jax, as usual, made a dry remark. "Extraordinary, sure. But I still want to know what all these buttons do before we leave." Rylan laughed quietly. "Curiosity is part of being human too, Sergeant. But first, we respect the gift we've been given. Then we learn." For the first time since their encounter, there was no tension. The humans had proven themselves, not through weapons or aggression, but through intelligence, perseverance, and moral strength. Zira realized that her initial assumptions about humans had been incomplete. She had expected aggression, impulsiveness, and self-interest. Instead, she found a species capable of inspiring trust, cooperation, and respect. The chamber's energy dimmed to a soft glow, as if acknowledging the completion of the trial. Zira stepped forward, placing a hand on a control panel. The walls shifted, forming a clear path toward the exit of the ruins. "You may proceed," Zira said. "But remember this, humans, your strength lies not only in your actions, but in your minds and hearts. That is rare in the galaxy." Rylan nodded. "We understand. and we will carry that lesson with us. Knowledge must be paired with wisdom, and courage must be guided by integrity. As they moved toward the exit, Kara glanced at Zira. You're not just a guardian. You're a teacher, too, in your own way. Zira's lips curved faintly. Perhaps. And humans, you are more than I expected. That will not be forgotten. The humans and the alien warrior walked side by side, leaving the final chamber behind. The trials were complete, but the journey had only begun. In that moment, a new understanding had formed, one that transcended species, weapons, and assumptions. Humans had proven themselves not just capable of survival, but worthy of trust, respect, and partnership. Outside the ruins, the twin suns of Viralia 7 began to dip below the horizon, casting golden light over the jagged mountains. Rylan looked at his team and then at Zira. This is only the beginning. There is much to learn and much to explore. But now we know something important. Humans can rise to challenges that seem impossible. Zira's violet eyes met his. Yes. And perhaps the galaxy is ready to see what humans truly are. Not through violence, but through courage, thought, and heart. And for the first time, the humans felt not only the thrill of discovery, but the deep satisfaction of respect earned, trust established, and the knowledge that they had proven themselves to one of the galaxy's most disciplined and powerful warriors. The ruins of Viralia 7 had seemed alive from the moment the humans entered. But now, outside in the open expanse, they felt the planet itself was testing them. The sky above had darkened unexpectedly, a swirling mix of teal and gold clouds that pulsed with faint energy. The twin suns were still visible, but their light struggled to cut through the rising storm. Captain Rylan Thorne stopped and raised a hand. Everyone, stay alert. This storm, it's unlike any weather I've seen. It's not natural. It's tied to the energy here. Kara squinted at the horizon. The readings are off the charts. The storm is moving fast, and its energy, it reacts to life forms. Jax muttered, Great. Just what I needed. A storm that hates me personally. Rylan ignored the joke. His mind raced, calculating their options. The storm's energy was unpredictable and potentially dangerous. It could trigger equipment failures, or worse. Zira, he called. What can you tell us? Zira, standing a few meters away, had lowered her weapon completely. The soft hum of her armor's energy panels reflected the storm's glow. This is a rare phenomenon, she said. The storm reacts to emotional and physical energy, aggression, fear, hesitation. It amplifies them. Survival requires calm, focus, and trust. Rylan nodded. Then we need to move carefully. Stay together. Don't panic. Let's observe first, then act. The storm intensified. Lightning-like arcs of energy danced across the clouds, striking the rocky terrain around them. The ground trembled with low vibrations. Rylan motioned for his team to form a close formation. Kara and Jax moved in step with him, every motion deliberate. Zira followed, her eyes scanning for threats, though she did not raise her weapon. The first obstacle appeared almost immediately, a deep ravine that had not been visible before. Its edges were lined with the same glowing energy that pulsed throughout the ruins. Crossing it required a bridge of floating platforms, barely large enough for one person at a time. The platforms moved in rhythm with the storm's pulses, demanding careful timing. Rylan studied them. We'll cross together. Wait for the pattern. Step confidently, not hastily. Kara nodded. I'll lead. Watch the rhythm. She stepped onto the first platform, feeling it shift beneath her feet. The energy pulsed in response, and she adjusted quickly, maintaining balance. Jax followed next, using his reach to stabilize the platform. Rylan brought up the rear, ready to catch or guide if needed. Halfway across, a sudden surge of energy caused one platform to lurch dangerously. Kara nearly slipped, but Rylan's quick reflexes caught her. Careful! he said calmly. "Focus. Do not let fear control you." The storm roared louder, as if reacting to their determination. Zira watched silently, analyzing every move. Her eyes lingered on Rylan. His calm composure, his patience, and his willingness to protect his team were unlike anything she had seen. Humans face danger not only with courage, but with thought. Once they reached the other side safely, the team paused to catch their breath. The storm's energy was relentless, whipping winds of charged particles across the rocky landscape. They could feel the storm's pressure in their bones, but none of them panicked. "Impressive," Zyra said quietly. "You remain calm despite danger. Most species panic in moments like this." Rylan nodded. "Fear is natural, but humans survive by controlling it, by acting in spite of it." They pressed forward, moving toward the ruin's inner structure, where Zyra indicated the source of the storm's energy. The closer they got, the more unstable the terrain became. Energy fissures opened along the ground, and glowing spires of light shot into the sky. One misstep could be fatal. Suddenly, a massive surge of energy struck the platform beneath them, shaking it violently. Kara stumbled and would have fallen if Rylan hadn't grabbed her arm. Jax braced himself, but the force of the surge threatened to push him off balance. Zyra acted instinctively, stepping forward to shield them with a sudden energy pulse from her armor. The force created a protective barrier, deflecting the worst of the surge. For the first time, the humans saw the full strength of her abilities. "Thank you," Rylan said calmly. "But we must continue together. We cannot rely solely on your strength. Humans endure by facing danger, not avoiding it." Zyra studied him, her violet eyes reflecting surprise and curiosity. He was not only brave, but willing to act even when fear threatened every instinct. She had expected panic or hesitation. Instead, she saw focus and trust, qualities she respected deeply. The storm forced them to take shelter in a cavern within the ruins. The walls glowed faintly, stabilizing some of the energy. Inside, the humans and Zyra paused, breathing heavily but controlled. The silence was only broken by the hum of the alien energy around them. Kara glanced at Zyra. "You could leave us out here? You're strong enough to survive alone." Zyra shook her head. "Leaving you would show disrespect. Strength without honor is meaningless." Jax raised an eyebrow. "I don't know if I've ever met anyone who calls not killing people honor. But I guess it works." Rylan smiled faintly. "It works because it respects life. Humans survive by valuing life, not destroying it needlessly." The storm outside raged on, but inside the cavern, a fragile sense of trust had formed. Zyra finally spoke again softly. "Humans, you are different. You face danger willingly, but you do not act recklessly. You act with thought. That intrigues me." Rylan met her gaze. "We act with caution, but we also act with courage. That is how humans endure, how we survive, and how we earn respect, even from those stronger than us." The storm grew stronger, and the cavern walls trembled with energy. Rylan realized that this moment demanded more than physical skill or bravery. It demanded trust in each other and in Zyra. He turned to his team. "Listen," he said quietly. "We cannot control the storm. We can only control our actions and trust each other. That is what humans do. We survive together." Kara nodded. "Together, always." Jax grunted in agreement. "Fine, but I still don't like getting zapped by a glowing storm." Rylan ignored the complaint and focused. The cavern's energy pulses were almost like a code. He studied them carefully, noting the rhythm and responding with precise movements. Kara mirrored him, matching her steps to the pulses. Jax, though less graceful, adjusted under Rylan's guidance. Zyra watched closely. She saw the humans' coordination, their ability to adapt to unpredictable danger, and their willingness to act as one. It was a display of unity, resilience, and intelligence, qualities rare even among the galaxy's most disciplined warriors. Suddenly, the energy in the cavern spiked. One of the walls shifted, releasing a wave of pulsing energy. Kara froze, unsure of the path, but Ryland stepped forward calmly, signaling her to follow his lead. He moved deliberately, timing each step with the energy pulse. Kara mirrored him, trusting his judgment. Jax followed, steadying himself with a mix of instinct and careful observation. They reached the far side of the cavern safely. The energy subsided, and the storm outside began to wane slightly. Zira lowered her weapon completely and exhaled. "You have faced the storm not with fear, but with unity," she said. "Your strength lies not only in courage but in trust, in yourself and in each other." Ryland nodded. "We survive because we trust, not blindly, but carefully. Humans endure by acting with reason, courage, and care for those around us." Zyra's violet eyes softened. For the first time, she allowed herself a small gesture of vulnerability. She adjusted her armor, exposing the contours of her face and neck. The humans saw the faint shimmer of energy beneath her skin, evidence of her own strength, but also her willingness to show restraint. Ryland noticed immediately. Removing armor, even partially, was a sign of trust in her culture. He responded with equal calmness, slowly adjusting his own helmet and removing a piece of his armor, revealing his human face. His eyes met Zira's directly, unflinching and sincere. For a long moment, neither spoke. The storm's energy still crackled faintly outside, but inside the cavern there was silence. Zira's weapon remained lowered. She had expected aggression, deceit, or fear. Instead, she saw courage, honesty, and trust. Finally, Zyra spoke softly. "Humans, your willingness to show vulnerability, even in danger, is remarkable." Ryland nodded. "Vulnerability is not weakness. It is the courage to face the unknown and to trust others. That is what humans do." Kara smiled faintly. "And it seems to work. You've earned our trust, and we've earned yours." Jax muttered. "I guess trusting a glowing warrior isn't so bad after all." Zira allowed a faint smile. "Perhaps. There is more to your species than I believed. Strength without understanding is meaningless, but you combine both. That is rare." Outside, the storm began to subside completely, leaving the skies clear once more. The twin suns of Viralia 7 cast long golden rays over the valley, illuminating the ruins in their full, quiet glory. The humans and Zira emerged from the cavern together, not as adversaries, but as companions bound by trust and mutual respect. Ryland looked at his team, then at Zira. "This storm tested more than our bodies. It tested our minds, our courage, and our ability to trust. Humans endure because we do not act alone. We act together, with understanding and courage." Zira's violet eyes met his. "And for the first time, I see that humans are capable of much more than I expected. You are worthy not only of survival, but of respect." The humans and Zira stood side by side, gazing at the ruins and the now peaceful skies. They had survived the storm, faced danger, and learned the power of trust. And in that moment, something unspoken passed between them. A recognition that their strengths, combined, could achieve far more than any of them alone. The ruins of Viralia 7 lay silent after the storm. The glowing walls had dimmed to a gentle shimmer, and the valley stretched out under the soft golden light of the twin suns. Captain Ryland Thorne and his team stepped out of the cavern, their faces reflecting both fatigue and awe. Zira, the Zalari warrior, walked beside them, her violet eyes scanning the horizon with quiet curiosity. The storm had tested them all, physically, mentally, and emotionally. Yet through courage, teamwork, and trust, they had endured. For the first time, humans and Zalari faced not a standoff, but an opportunity for cooperation. Rylan turned to Zira. The ruins are no longer a test. They are a resource, knowledge, history, and technology. Together, we can understand them and protect them. Zyra regarded him silently. For weeks, she had followed her instincts, observing humans, challenging them, and testing their courage. She had expected recklessness or fear, but instead, she had found patience, intelligence, and integrity. Humans, you are persistent, adaptable, and honorable, she said. I see now that your strength lies not in force alone, but in your mind and your heart. Kara stepped forward, her eyes bright with excitement. If we work together, think of what we could learn. The technology here, it's far beyond anything humans or Zalari have ever seen. Imagine what we could do with it, for exploration, for safety, for understanding. Jax muttered, Yeah, imagine it. And let's hope it doesn't explode in our faces. Rylan smiled faintly. Caution, Sergeant, but yes, we have an opportunity here that extends far beyond survival. We can use what we learn to benefit both species and perhaps many more across the galaxy. Zira's eyes softened, though her posture remained disciplined. She moved toward the central chamber of the ruins, the floating pedestal that had first judged them now glowing softly. I will guide you through the mechanisms. You must respect them. Improper use could cause harm, not only to yourselves, but to the ruins themselves. Rylan nodded. We will follow your guidance. We have learned that understanding comes before action. The humans entered the chamber, careful and observant. The glowing symbols on the walls responded to their presence, shifting patterns in a dance of light and energy. Kara traced them with her fingers, deciphering sequences and rhythms. Jax examined mechanical devices, noting their precision and elegance. Rylan observed both his team and Zyra, ensuring that every action respected the ruins' delicate balance. This technology, Kara whispered. It's a library of knowledge, not just tools. It contains history, energy sources, and information about your species, Zira, and about the galaxy. Zira nodded. The Zalari designed these ruins not only to preserve knowledge, but to test those who seek it. Only those worthy, those who value life, understand wisdom, and act with courage, may access it fully. Rylan looked at her. We have proven ourselves, Zira. Now let us learn. Together, we can unlock its secrets safely. Over the next several hours, humans and Zalari worked side by side. Kara and Zira focused on deciphering symbols and translating the ancient language. Jax and Rylan examined energy conduits, adjusting them to stabilize the ruin systems. The process required patience, collaboration, and trust. At one point, an energy panel shifted unexpectedly, threatening to overload. Jax froze, but Rylan remained calm. Step back, Sergeant. Watch the pattern, then act. Jax followed his guidance, carefully adjusting the conduit in tandem with Rylan. The panel stabilized, and the ruin's hum returned to a steady, gentle pulse. Zyra observed closely, her violet eyes reflecting respect. You act with foresight and cooperation. Few species could manage this. Kara's excitement grew with each discovery. The energy systems, they can power entire colonies. The knowledge stored here, it could advance human and Zalari technology by decades. Rylan nodded. And we will use it responsibly. Knowledge without wisdom is dangerous, but with understanding and cooperation it can achieve great good. Zira stepped closer to the pedestal, touching its surface lightly. The energy shifted, projecting a soft holographic map of the galaxy. Stars, planets, and travel routes appeared in glowing lines. Zira turned to Rylan. This map, It shows not only locations of importance, but safe paths, resources, and potential dangers. You have the intellect to understand it, but more importantly, you have the heart to use it wisely. Rylan studied the map carefully. Humans have always explored the stars with curiosity, courage, and care. We can use this knowledge to protect, to connect species, and to prevent conflict. Zira's armor shimmered softly. She had witnessed humanity's resilience, intelligence, and moral strength. Now she saw their potential not only as explorers, but as partners capable of inspiring trust and cooperation across the galaxy. The sun dipped lower, casting a warm glow over the chamber. Outside, the ruins glimmered softly, reflecting the new alliance forming within. Rylan looked at Zira. "We have earned your trust. Will you join us in exploring the galaxy, not as adversaries, but as allies?" Zira considered him carefully. Her people valued honor, discipline, and wisdom above all else. Humans had proven themselves in every way, through courage, intelligence, empathy, and trust. Finally, she nodded. "Yes, I will join you. Together, we can ensure that this knowledge is used wisely and that our species and others benefit from it." Kara's eyes lit up. "This is incredible. Humans and Zalari side by side, exploring and learning together." Jax grunted, though his eyes reflected a quiet pride. "I still don't know if I like trusting an alien warrior. But this isn't bad." Rylan smiled. "Trust is the foundation of survival. It allows us to accomplish what individuals alone cannot. Together, we are stronger." With Zira's guidance, the humans fully unlocked the ruins' energy systems. Ancient devices hummed to life, glowing softly with contained energy. Data streams projected holographic knowledge, from star maps to histories of ancient civilizations. Kara and Zira worked together, translating and cataloging the information. Jax and Rylan stabilized the energy sources, ensuring the systems operated safely. For the first time, the humans saw the full extent of Zira's abilities, not just her strength in combat, but her intelligence, patience, and understanding of complex systems. They realized that her skills, combined with human ingenuity, could achieve remarkable feats. As the sun set, the chamber glowed with a soft, golden light. Zira turned to the humans. "You have proven yourselves worthy, not through power alone, but through intellect, courage, and respect. I see now that humanity carries a strength beyond what I imagined. You inspire hope." Rylan nodded. "And you have shown us that strength guided by honor and wisdom is invaluable. Together, we can achieve more than either of us alone." The alliance was now solid. Humans and Zalari stood side by side, ready to explore, learn, and protect. The ruins of Veralia 7 had served their purpose, to test, to challenge, and ultimately to unite two species that had once regarded each other with caution. Kara looked at the glowing walls. "This knowledge, we can use it to help others, not just ourselves, but anyone willing to learn and cooperate." Jax grunted. "And maybe keep a few cool gadgets for emergencies." Rylan laughed softly. "Careful with the gadgets, Sergeant. But yes, we will use what we've learned wisely. Knowledge is powerful, but only when guided by reason and empathy." Zira observed them with quiet approval. For the first time, she felt a sense of true partnership with humans. Their courage, intelligence, and moral strength had earned her trust. She realized that together they could face challenges no single species could endure alone. The night fell over Veralia 7, stars twinkling above like scattered gems. Humans and Zira stood at the edge of the ruins, gazing at the horizon. Beyond this planet lay countless others, each with mysteries to explore and challenges to face. But now, they would face them together. Rylan looked at his team. "This is only the beginning. We have learned much, but there is still more to discover. And now, we do not face the galaxy alone. We have allies, and that is what makes humans truly capable of greatness. Zyra stepped forward, placing her hand briefly on the energy pedestal, then resting her gaze on Rylan. Humans, your courage, adaptability, and integrity are extraordinary. I will follow you as an ally, not because you are strong, but because you are worthy. Rylan nodded. And you, Zyra, are worthy of our respect and trust. Together, we will ensure that knowledge, courage, and integrity guide our path. As they prepared to depart Viralia 7, the ruins' energy glowed softly, as if acknowledging the alliance formed within. Humans and Zalari, once cautious strangers, were now partners. Together they would explore the galaxy, uncover new knowledge, and protect life wherever they went. The story of trust, courage, and intelligence had reached its first conclusion, but the journey of humans and Zyra had only just begun. Through their alliance, they demonstrated a simple yet profound truth. Humanity's strength lies not just in power, but in courage, understanding, and the ability to inspire trust and cooperation across the stars. The twin suns of Viralia 7 set behind the mountains, casting a final golden glow over the ruins. Rylan, Kara, Jax, and Zira stood together, looking toward the horizon. The galaxy awaited them, full of challenges, mysteries, and opportunities. And for the first time, humans truly understood what it meant to face the stars. Not alone, but united by courage, wisdom, and the strength of the human spirit. In that quiet moment, under the fading light, a silent truth was clear. Humans could rise to any challenge, not through brute force, but through intellect, empathy, courage, and the power to inspire respect and trust across the galaxy.